Hello. So I've been asking people, friends of mine and people that I know, if there's anything they want me to do for them. So they give me some ideas and I'm going to work through them slowly. So somebody said to me, a girl I know, she said, "Can you do something vegan?" So I woke up this morning, I've had a look through my fridge and I've come up with something that's naturally vegan. And it's a nice thing to have in the summer and we're going to have it for our lunch. So there's no compromises here. It's just vegan anyway. So if you come in, so it's carrot and coriander soup. So these are our carrots. This is a little bit of celery. Here we have some onion. That's some fresh coriander from the garden. So I'm all over the place, aren't I? That is my garlic, some chopped garlic. These are a couple of vegetable stock cubes. So if this wasn't vegan, I might use chicken stock cubes or those chicken stock pots or fresh chicken stock. But it's not something that makes much difference at all. This is olive oil, so that is vegan, of course. So normally I probably put in a bit of butter, but again, we're not going to lose anything by not having the butter. This is some coriander that I've ground down. I didn't have any ground coriander, so I've just done that in a pestle and mortar. Because you put in the whole coriander seed, it will end up a bit gritty. And I'd normally put in it the juice of one large orange and some zest, but I've actually used some easy peelers that I found, some like little tangerine things, because I don't have an orange. And I'm also going to put some of this in. Now, I've not put this in before, but I know it'll be good. I've got some cider left over. So that's going to really help with the fruity flavours. That's going to give a real depth. Okay, so just one thing I want to show you here. So these are my carrots. So to make things easier for yourself, if you buy the biggest carrots you can, mine were a little bit weedy. It makes it a lot quicker because you don't have to peel as many. So I'm just going to show you the easiest way to chop these up. So if you've got like a thin one like this, I normally find it easier if you have it just on a slight angle like that. And just run it through. But then, if you've got a slightly bigger one that might roll around more, go through the middle, put the two together, and that'll save you a bit of time. Obviously you can go a little bit slower. And that's it. We are ready to cook. Okay, so we've got a medium to hot pan here. So I'm going to get in my olive oil. So you can tell it's quite hot because the olive oil's shimmering, but you definitely don't want it smoking. So we should have a nice little sizzle. There we go, that's just what we want. When we get our onion in, that's our chopped onion. Get that started there. Should go for a touch more olive oil. And even at this stage, we'll do a little bit of seasoning. We're not going to go too far with the salt because we are going to add a couple of those cubes later. And one thing I didn't mention, unfortunately, we're going to put in a little bit of this garam masala, just a little bit. So you can use curry powder or the garam masala if you got it. Either's fine. It's just going to add a greater depth of flavour. We're going to add like half a teaspoon. We don't want it to turn into a curried soup, but a little bit will help. Now the important thing here, you need to get this onion soft. And if you don't get it soft at this stage, the sweating stage, it's not going to soften when the liquid's in. Not unless you give it maybe 3 hours. We don't want to do that. So, we'll get the celery in. And our garlic. Keep that moving for a few seconds. So we're actually going to get a lid on this. And you might stir it occasionally, but we're going to sweat it for 10 minutes. But it's really going to be worth it to make sure it's all nice and soft. You do not want crunchy bits in your soup. So lid on. But just keep an eye on it, just to make sure nothing's sticking. Perfect. Okay, so I just thought what I'm going to do is I'm going to do some croutons with this, and they're going to be vegan as well. So that'll make the soup a bit more interesting. So we come in here, So we've got some bread. That's just normal white sliced bread. We've got a little bit of rosemary, bit of thyme from the garden as well. A couple of garlic cloves. So I'm just going to cut this into cubes. Now you don't have to take the crusts off, but I'm going to. It's just a bit better, I think. Just look a bit better. So we'll put those over there, and then cut them into nice little cubes. Turn it that way. So we'll do it for little squares, just like that. And we're going to flavour them with these herbs. Okay, so we've got those like that there. Very nice. So our bit of rosemary. Now this has got the stalk on, but it's quite new rosemary. It's not like really woody, so we're going to get that in there. That'll be fine. So a little bit of that. Yeah, that'll be fine for that amount of bread. Now a little bit of time. These are just the leaves, but we'll run the knife through them just a few times. And this garlic, so that's going to go in, and then we're going to take out again. We're just going to get the flavour out of it. So a little crush down. So onto here, onto the pan. So we'll get in some oil, some olive oil. Not too much again. So if you could just go over that side. Yeah. So we'll get our oil in. Our garlic in. That's just going to release its fragrance. And our soup's just there looking after itself. So while your soup's cooking, because you do have to wait, don't you? You can make your croutons. Brilliant. So we'll get in our herbs. So get them onto the knife like that. So yeah, you can see those sizzling away. We'll get in our croutons. Our little cubes of bread, but they're going to be croutons. If you're doing it this way, you've got to keep them moving. Now blinking cooker. There we go. And on we go. We just keep those turning in the fragrant oil. So let me just put in a little salt. I don't think we want any pepper for these. So it will take a little bit of time just to get beautifully golden. Okay, so these are nice and golden now. You don't want to take them any further than that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take out the garlic. And in fairness, I don't really need to go onto any kitchen roll or anything, but there we go. Beautiful. Okay, so let's have a look in here. So we just get down on there. So that has all gone nice and soft now. That's really sweated down. So it's well worth doing that step. Right, so we've got our other little bits now. Now, I know I didn't mention this, and I know ingredients keep appearing, but that is a little bay leaf there from the garden. Doesn't matter if you add it or not, but again, it all adds to the flavour, so pop one of those in. So let's get in some of this coriander. This is the dried coriander. So we're going to have our flavours from the dried and the fresh. Dried can go in at this stage. Let's have about 1.5. Tiny bit more. You don't want to overdo it. So you want the fresh in later because basically you want it to stay fresh. Really nice. And a little bit of this garam masala. So this is the one we won't overdo. Spoon doesn't fit in, does it? So let me just go onto here. Ooh. There we go. Roughly half a teaspoon, that'll be okay. So all the flavours are releasing now. But remember, it's not gonna taste like a curry or anything. It's just all going to add to a really well-rounded, mellow flavour that will complement the carrot. So this is a good time to go in with our bit of cider. We crank that up a little bit. So you do want to cook this down. You don't want loads in, but it's a nice fruity flavour. So we want to reduce that away, get rid of all the alcohol, and just be left with the residue. But again, if you don't want to put cider in, you don't have to. It's not even part of the recipe, but I've got some, and it can only do good. It can only be a good thing. It's boiling away furiously now, so we've cooked off most of that alcohol and we've reduced the cider. So now we're going to get our carrots in. I'll take all the heat out, a lot of the heat out. You don't have to use one of these spatulas, of course. You can use a wooden spoon. Okay, so these carrots, they've just had a couple of minutes just to soften slightly and get coated in all this flavoured oil. So now we're going to get everything else in that we need, and then we're going to have to let it cook. So that's the orange zest. This is our orange juice. But we know, of course, they're those easy peeler things, aren't they?
Yeah.
And we're gonna crumble in a couple of these veg stock cubes. I've checked it out; they are vegan. You just can't always be sure. Get that mixed in. Right, does smell nice. Do you like the smell, Sophie?
Ooh, yum. It smells like oranges.
Yeah, but again, at the end, it's not going to taste of oranges. It might be a little backbite of orange.
Yeah.
So we're going to top this up to want these carrots well covered.
Might give a little aftertaste.
Exactly. And we'll go to about there. We don't want to overdo it. So now we're going to put the lid on. We're not adding our coriander yet, either, our fresh coriander. Get this back to the boil first, and then so that's water from the kettle. So we're going to get the lid on, just scrape down the side actually. Should have said that. Let's go all the way around, because if it's just stuck to the sides, it'll just end up caramelising and sticking to it, and could give you a super nasty flavour. So that's all in there. Our sides are cleaned down. So bring it to the boil, and then we actually want to give it half an hour. You want your carrots to be really soft, because if you start blending it when your carrots aren't really soft, they'll all blend up and you'll think it's all good, but it won't be smooth. You might have to pass it through a sieve. You're going to have crunchy bits of carrots. It won't be nice. So take no chances. We'll give it half an hour. So let me see, have we got up to the boil yet? It's just coming up to the boil now. So let's have our lid on. We'll lower it. You can keep an eye on it, of course, and stir it in the meantime. And then, yeah, we'll come back to it once it's ready. So our soup's now it's had about 35 minutes. So let's just see how things are in here. Looking good. Now, I have been back to it part way through. And what I've done is I've just added a little bit more water. So let's have a look at our carrot here. Ah, lovely. Nice and squashy. And I have had a little taste part way through, so it's tasting good. But we're not going to know properly until we blended it up. We won't get all this in. Yeah, it's always worth trying it part way through. So we're going to blend in this. We're going to save a bit of coriander to go on top of the soup as well. So just going to add a little bit of liquid at this stage. So you can do that depending on how your soup is. So at this stage we're just adjusting it where you want. So we're going to get back blending again. And it also blends a lot easier if it's got a bit more liquid in. So there we go. Let's have that on nice and slow. There we go. So let me just have a little taste. So you want this just to be the way you want it, to your tastes. No one knows what your tastes are, but you. Okay, so for me, a little more pepper. And just a little salt. And then we're going to taste again. Yeah, I'm quite happy to stir this through actually. There we go, don't worry about adding lots of pepper, it's a big soup. Always go quite heavy on the seasoning. Let's have another go. So we'll taste it, and if it's still not right, we can adjust it further. Tiny bit more salt. That is nice, that's really smooth, because we cooked it for enough time till all the vegetables are really breaking down. Yep, I'm happy with that. So if we just come over here, Saf. So some soup for you, Safi.
Yeah.
I'll have mine later. So that's nice and smooth. Not too hot. We've let it cool just a little bit so Safi can try it. A tiny bit of coriander.
Yeah.
And some croutons. So that's my big arm there. There we go. Some croutons there in the middle. Over to you then, Saf.
Okay.
Okay, hope you enjoy it.
Final result. I'm gonna try and get everything in one bite. I really taste the carrot.
You like that?
Croutons are really crunchy, but not like hard.
Adding a nice bit of crunch.
Yeah, and the parsley just
Oh, it's coriander.
coriander. Sorry.
I know what you mean, though. It's very similar
Yeah, it just helps.
in look. So you like it?
Yeah, I'll eat that all up.
Okay, so I hope you enjoy making this. I'm just going to call you SB. You know who you are. So I hope you enjoy making this soup, if it appeals to you. Over to you, Safi, for the like and subscribe.
Okay, please like and subscribe. We always appreciate it. And if you want to comment down below for anything that you want me and my dad to cook, then we'll try our best.
Okay, thanks everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you.